Allegiance led by Mayor Mo.
Almighty God, we gather this evening to conduct the business of this city. We offer our prayer for our mayor, for the president, for the members of the city council, and for all in authority. Grant unto them a sense of justice, strength, and wisdom as they perform their duties in behalf of all thy people. We commend this nation, state, this county, our city to thy merciful care and understanding. We ask a special blessing upon all the members of our law enforcement community, our fire and rescue. Defend them day by day with your heavenly grace. Strengthen them in their trials and temptations, and give them courage to face the perils and beset them. Grant to each a sense of your abiding presence wherever they may be. Remember those who lie upon a bed of affliction. Comfort those who mourn. In the name of the one who's Lord of life, we pray. Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll note that Mr. Ricks is out of town for a well-deserved vacation. If you wish to be heard at this meeting, please sign the speaker list provided on the table at the side of the council chamber over here. I reserve the right to limit the amount of time each speaker has for each agenda item. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to speak for each agenda item. Ms. Rao, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Nicholas? Here. Ms. Crary? Here. Mr. Smalls?
Here.
President Les?
Yes.
Mayor Mo?
Thank you, Ms. Rao. Move to agenda item number 5. Approval of minutes of the 9th meeting of March 28th, 2016. We were furnished a copy of these minutes. Are there any corrections? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the council?
So move, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll, Ms. Rao.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Les?
Yes. Move to the report of the mayor and city council. And tonight I will start with Ms. Crary.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've had several events going on. It's been incredibly cold, but I think we're done with it. I say with a glimmer of hope. Additionally, we've got early voting that starts this week on the 14th, and we have early voting place here in town at the Laurel Beltsville Senior Center. That's the 14th through the 21st, and the primary's on the 26th. I hope everyone gets out and exercises their right to vote. That would be my report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Crary. Move next to Ms. Nicholas.
Thank you. On Saturday, I attended the 4th of July community yard sale, which was well attended, and I did pick up a lot of nice household items. I also would like to remind everyone about the annual Arbor Day. That's going to be Friday, April 22nd at 11 o'clock at the Elizabeth House. It's located at 308 Gorman Avenue. And I just encourage everyone to get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Mr. Smalls.
I have no report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Tuesday, April 5th, I attended the master plan hearing here at City Hall. Once it is passed out of the committee, it will move to the planning commission, and then it'll move to the mayor and city council. There's going to be lots of hearings. I encourage residents to read it. I think it's a little bit under 200 pages, is that correct? If I remember correctly from reading it. There's a lot of interesting detail in there, and it's worthwhile reading and coming and commenting. Thursday, April 7th, I attended the Laurel Board of Trade meeting at Friendship Hall. It was, they had a light meal along with some very good speakers. Saturday, April 9th, I attended the Laurel Historical Society Gala. It was a well-attended event, and there's a moment of silence for Jim McSaney, who will be missed with all that he has done for the Laurel Historical Society. Congratulations to Kyle Snyder, grandson of our past councilwoman Gail Snyder, on his wrestling win over the weekend that puts him into the Olympic team for the heavyweight division in wrestling. And there's also another young lady, I did not know it, from Maryland, who's going to be on the women's team, apparently. So Maryland will be well represented on the Olympic team. And finally, condolences to the Knapp family on their recent loss. That concludes my report. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Condolences to Cinnamon Fisher, who is with our IT division, the loss of her mother. Also, I had the opportunity to have tonight my time with the mayor. It was held at the Robert J. DiPietro Community Center from 4:30 until 6:30, although hopefully nobody came. We had to leave a little bit early tonight. I had another engagement, so I'm hopeful nobody came afterwards. If so, I apologize. On April the 2nd, they did hold the Laurel Lakes Earth Day cleanup at Good Park, as well as Patuxent River Keepers cleanup event at Riverfront Park. I want to thank Park and Recs and all those that came out and volunteered. I'm glad you reminded me. Let me also offer congratulations to Kyle Snyder. I keep telling Gail he owes me. I was the first one to put him in a bear hug and made him get out of it. So look where he's gone today. And he got out pretty easy, I might add. So congratulations to him as well. The April the 13th, Wednesday, the Laurel TV studio will be unveiling the new studio, the design that they have back there from 7 p.m. until 8:30. The public is invited to come and see. It'll be an exciting event. It's our next level of moving and getting news out in and around the city of Laurel on our cable television. On April the 16th, there is an electronic and paper shredding event at the Department of Public Works from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. You're a city resident, you have to show your ID for city residents. Again, that's April the 16th from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. April the 20th is our first City Hall in the Park. That will be held at Discovery Park from 6:30 until 8. We encourage you to come by, participate, listen to community updates, and have the opportunity to talk to and discuss issues with all of our management staff that will be there as well. On April the 22nd, there is an Arbor Day, planting of the crepe myrtle tree at the Elizabeth House, which is located at 308 Gorman Avenue, from 11 a.m. until 12. Anybody that's interested, please feel free to come by and participate as well. On April the 22nd, there will be an Earth Day senior event at the Laurel Beltsville Senior Activity Center on the outside patio from 1 until 3. And then on April the 23rd, the July 4th Committee, a fabulous Spring Blast fundraiser at American Legion Post 60, located at number 2 Main Street from 6 until 12. As most know, the July 4th Committee is all volunteer. They're always looking for volunteers, so if anybody's out there that's interested, please let us know. But they raise a lot of their funds, and the city does participate in helping them with funding and many of our services, department services. So April the 23rd, if you have some time, feel free to stop by. That concludes my report, Mr. President. I do have one mayoral appointment. I want to, as you know, I sent a letter to the council nominating Ms. Joanne Barr for the director of Department of Park and Recreation. I think Joanne has done an outstanding job here with the city for many years. She has been most recently the deputy under Mike Lotsky, who retired. I had the opportunity to meet with Joanne. I think she's ready for the task. I know she's ready for the task. I think she'll take the Department of Park and Recreations to the next level. And I know she works well with all of you as members of the council. Joanne is in the back. I want to thank her for accepting the position and ask for your concurrence, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, we all know Joanne. She's been here serving her apprenticeship for 17 years, I think. Is that correct? So it's time? Okay. All right. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President,
Ms. Curry,
I recommend Joanne Barr for the position.
okay, have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Valerie. Call the roll, Ms. Rowe.
Ms. Crary,
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas,
Yes.
Mr. Smalls,
I'm very pleased to vote yes.
President Les.
Yes. John, do you want to say a few words?
It's budget time, get on their good side.
Make sure the microphone's on.
I want to thank you very much for your support, and I certainly look forward to working with all of you at the Barron City Council. You've shown a tremendous amount of support and confidence in the Department of Parks and Recreation. Mr. Lotsky worked very hard to prepare me, and I think the rest of us, and we are definitely excited about moving forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's that time of the year. We have Proclamation 2016-3, whereas the Arbor Day holiday was first observed with planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas trees can reduce erosion from our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and air costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas Laurel has been recognized as a tree city by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting opportunities. And whereas the City of Laurel Tree Board will plant a crepe myrtle tree at Elizabeth House this year, and we are calling our celebration the planting of a giving tree. And whereas this year, in lieu of refreshments, we are asking all participants to bring non-perishable food items to leave as a donation at Elizabeth House. For those that may not know, that's a kitchen, and we'd ask that you bring non-perishable food as well. Now, therefore, I, Craig A. Moe, the Mayor, City of Laurel, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2016, as Arbor Day. And Joanne, the Director of Park and Recs, if she would come forward. First official duty.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And we definitely look forward to everyone coming out. And again, we are calling this the Giving Tree, so we really would like to give back to the community. We hope that people do join us that day, and we fill their pantry with plenty of non-perishable food items. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I do have one appointment, and I appreciate council working with us on that. As you know, we have 2 vacancies right now. I did have the opportunity to talk to Margie McSeany to fill the vacant position of Historical District Commissioner. Ms. McSeany would fill and complete the term left vacant by the passing of her father, the late Jim McSeany. I found Ms. McSeany to be very knowledgeable and high integrity, and an understanding how to assist the businesses and the residents that come before the commission. And I think if you look at her resume there, you'll see that on historical preservation, I think she meets the goals of the commission. I'd ask for your approval.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President,
Great.
I recommend Margie McSeany to fill the vacancy on the Historic District Commission.
Thank you. To have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Valerie. Call the roll, Ms. Rowe.
Ms. Crary,
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas,
Yes.
Mr. Smalls,
I vote yes.
President Les.
Yes, I know she'll do a good job, Mayor. Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 8, general public hearing. I have 2 people signed up to speak in the general public hearing, and I have 2 people signed up to speak on the grocery cart issue, and I'll call you on that item. So the first person is Rosemary Thomas. Come forward to the microphone. Push the little button on the bottom till it turns green.
Can you
There
hear
you
me?
go, you're good to go.
Okay.
State your name
Good
and address
evening,
for the
gentlemen,
record.
ladies.
Yes.
How are you today?
State
I
your name
have
and
a-
address for the record,
Okay,
please.
my name is Rosemary Thomas. I live at 829 4th Street in Laurel, Maryland. My issue is parking. We have, we live on the right side. Dalefield Apartments and the apartments on the left, the one up the street. Well, I leave my house at 4:15 in the morning, and I have to park all the way up by Giant to get in my car because those apartment buildings park on our side because they can't park in the apartment complex. So every morning at 4:15, I have to walk up near Giant to get in my car by myself, and that's dangerous for me. And that's the issue that we have. Number 2 issue I have, we have a house on the left side, 806 and 808. They are renting those houses. They have 7 cars in that house, those 2 houses. I came down here 2 years ago and complained because they was renting rooms out of those houses. And that's where another parking issue goes. So if I go anywhere, I come home, I gotta park. And then if I do park down by the stop sign, I'm gonna get $100 ticket and they gonna tow my car. And I don't have that type of money to keep paying for towing. So we wanna know if we can just get some parking stickers or something to put in front of our house so we can park.
Mayor,
I actually, thank you for coming down tonight. I actually got a letter, email this evening as well regarding parking. I've asked our Public Works to take a look at the area. Then what I think we'll probably do is kind of send out a flyer to everybody in the neighborhood and get a little group together, town meeting here and talk about the issues. The overcrowding, let me just state, and I didn't say this in my remarks, we just had a fire that had 14 people, 13 people.
Yes.
There are standards when we talk about residential issues and where people stay. We're gonna take a good look at looking at all the overcrowding. When we know about it, we'll address it. It's very difficult for our code enforcement to be able to prove that in some cases.
Right.
And they do a lot of things to figure it out, but it's very time consuming, other than someone just telling us sometimes. And we get
Right.
this is all over town, not just here, and everybody's dealing with it.
Right. Well, this one, in 806, I reported this 2 years ago.
Okay.
Someone did come out,
Right,
and then they started renting rooms again.
right,
So,
okay.
yeah, so this is the issue that we have. I mean, I do be scared, to be honest. I do walk up the street with a knife in my hand.
Well, we don't want you to do that.
Because I leave out at 4:15 in the morning.
Okay. I'll be in touch.
Okay.
We'll be in
Thank
touch.
you.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up, and I need our Public Works crew to take a good look at the entire
Okay.
area, see how it's gonna affect.
Okay,
thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you.
You have a second person signed up to speak, Talisha Sadler. Come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Talisha Sadler.
Speak up a little bit now.
My name is Talisha Sadler, and I live at 837 4th Street. And I'm just here to second everything that Rosemary said. Like, I've come home at 6 o'clock in the evening, and there's nowhere to park. And like, an example is my car got towed the other day because I couldn't find a spot at 6 o'clock. I can't really park up by the Giant and walk down because of a disability. I'm having brain surgery in a few weeks, and I'm afraid I don't know how I'm gonna park and get to my door and things like that. So I can't really park blocks away and walk. And I can't park on a lot and get towed again.
Who towed your car?
SLT or STL towing.
Is it the police department?
I called the police department to ask what happened to the car, and they said they told me that it was towed. Because I parked it on the lot by the Laurel College Center, which people have done all the time, but I know it's
That
not.
answers it.
Right, yeah, it's not, I'm not
Okay, now,
supposed to, I
let
know
me
that,
just-
but I had nowhere else to go.
Yeah, let me just say this, if in fact you have a handicap,
Mhm.
we make arrangements, you'll see handicap parking spaces in strange places around the city.
Mhm.
Typically in front of a residence where a person living there has a handicap. What you need to do is you need to speak to Mr. Brock's department. I think you need to start with him.
That's smart.
Or,
Marty's got it.
Marty, you're gonna take care of it? Okay, Mr. Fleming, the city manager is gonna take care of that for you,
Okay,
okay? We don't want you walking if you have a handicap.
yeah, and like I said, I'm having brain surgery in a few weeks,
Sure.
and I just, but I mean, even aside from that, it's just, even if I have company to come over or visit or something, there's nowhere
Yeah.
for anyone to park.
Okay,
If we could get
Well-
parking stickers or something for the people that live in the houses.
all right.
Like reserve parking?
Yeah, reserve parking stickers, I mean, I'm willing to think creatively, but.
Okay.
Let me just, a couple statements. Where you're being towed, you must be parked on, the Arbitron or the parking lots there. That, plus that street itself is privately owned, so they control all that, so it wouldn't be our police department. All the streets are public streets, so anybody has the right to park there. But as I said, we'll take a look at it. We'll see what we can do, what we can't do. Maybe we can talk to others about some agreements, those types of things. But parking's at a premium, everywhere in the city. We're dealing with it, like I said, all over. But we'll definitely take a look and we'll get everybody back together.
I mean, because we can see the people parking and going through the fence to the apartments, and their lots are empty.
Correct.
They've got spaces to park, but I guess they're not on leases or anything, but.
Thank you.
so, all right,
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, before she goes, I'd just like to ask Mr. Fleming, or maybe Mr. Faree, does the city provide any kind of temporary reserve parking for?
Marty.
Okay.
The CA's office.
Perfect, okay.
And good luck with your surgery. All right. Come forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
Levita Joseph, 831 4th Street, Laurel, Maryland. The same issue, we just got towed last week. We've been there for 11 years. There has been no towing. And when my mother talked to one of the security guards, they said, oh yes, we just started last week. There was no notification or anything. The people who live on that street are the ones who's getting towed. Yet the ones who are walking to the apartments or from the apartments are not getting towed. So that's not fair. And we called the lady to see if we could get a refund. And she said, oh yes, we can give you a refund. When we called again, once we were making a payment, didn't return the call or anything. It's not fair. If we could get something established after a certain time, not to park on that street, because now that they're towing down the street, I mean, I didn't mind walking down the street. There was empty parking lot. No one's there. But now we can't park there. And that's new. That's within the last 2 weeks or so. And without any notification at all, it was totally unfair, and it was ridiculous. So, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak at the general public hearing? We'll close general public hearing at 7:25. Move to agenda item number 9. Consideration of a recommendation for the purchase of a refuse roll-off truck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, the Department of Public Works is recommending the purchase of a 10 cubic yard truck with a roll-off dumpster to be utilized for refuse collection, yard waste, that type of thing. Johnson Truck Center in Landover, Maryland had awarded the District of Columbia a contract for the same type of truck we're looking for. This truck was, we have funds provided in the CIP replacement program, and the truck cost $117,080. So it is recommended that the Mayor and City Council award this contract for $117,080.
Thank you, Mr. Free. This was discussed at the April work session. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the recommendation to purchase a 10 cubic yard refuse roll-off truck as presented by Mr. Fareed.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Crary. Call the roll, Ms. Brown.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Laz?
Yes. Agenda item number 10, consideration of a recommendation for a LED lighting project at the Robert J. DiPietro Community Center. Ms. Barr.
Thank you. This is the third actual project that the Department of Parks and Recreation has had to replace existing lighting for new LED lighting at one of the centers. This is for the Robert J. DiPietro Community Center. Bids were proposed, and we received 15 bids ranging in cost from $21,814 to $112,604. After completing the reviewing the proposals and completing the references, we would like to accept the bid by Eco Electric in Hyattsville, Maryland for $36,200.96. This is also part of the CIP, the Energy Efficiency Improvements Program.
Okay, I'll note that the memorandum indicates that the proposals from Go Green Now and Centrix were eliminated for failing to meet the scope of work as stated in the RFP. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. This was discussed at the April work session. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President,
Ms. Gray.
I recommend that we accept the proposal for the LED lighting as presented by Director Barr.
Thank you, Ms. Crary. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Call roll, Ms. Brown.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Ms. Nicholas? President Laz?
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 11. Consideration of a recommendation to award a contract for telecommunications fiber construction to Fiberplus Inc. of Jessup, Maryland. Mr. Frost.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, council members. Before you is a recommendation to award a contract for telecommunications fiber to Fiberplus of Jessup, Maryland. This construction project will install telecommunications fiber between the Municipal Center and the Laurel Armory. The contract vehicle is the State of Maryland Cable and Wiring Master Contract 060 Bravo 1400067. Fiberplus is a master contractor on this contract. Funding is available in the CIP, and it is recommended the council approve the Fiberplus Incorporated State of Maryland contract price of $105,249.29.
Thank you, Mr. Frost. This was discussed at the April work session. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the recommendation to award contract for telecommunications fiber construction to Fiberplus Inc. for the amount of $105,249.29 as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Crary. Call the roll, Ms. Brown.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Les?
Yes. Agenda item number 12, second public hearing with possible action on resolution number 5-16. A resolution approving a memorandum of understanding with Prince George's County regarding the required improvements to the roads being transferred to the City of Laurel. Read the title into the record of the second reading. I will open the public hearing at 7:30. I have no one signed up to speak on this agenda item. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Seeing no one, I will close public hearing at 7:30 and 30 seconds. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President,
Ms. Curry,
I recommend that we adopt resolution number 5-16 as read into the record.
have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Any discussion? Call the roll, Ms. Rowe.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Les?
Yes,
Mayor Mo?
thank you all. Move to agenda item number 13. Second public hearing with possible action on ordinance number 1869. An ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel amending the code of the City of Laurel, Chapter 9, Miscellaneous Provisions and Offenses, Section 9-20 Grocery Cart Storage, to increase the fine associated with a first violation of this section from $25 to $100, to increase the fine associated with repeat violations of this section from $125 to $250, and provide that carts found outside the boundaries of the lot of the business to which they belong will be taken to a city location, and the business owner may retrieve it there within 30 days. I've read the title into the record for the second reading. I'll open the public hearing at 7:35. First person signed to speak is Donna Maloney. Come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Donna Maloney. I'm the store manager at the Giant at the Laurel Shopping Center at 1009 Fairlawn Avenue. Thanks for the chance to speak to you all regarding this matter. I wish I was privy to the previous hearing, but I'm here now. The shopping carts, I understand, are a concern for the city, and they are a deep concern for us as well. We spend about $125 to replace every stolen grocery cart that we have. We've done pretty much a lot of things to prevent the carts from being stolen or removed from the lot. We have what we call a cartronic system, which is a wire that's around the parking lot and it sends an antenna signal to the wheel, which once it crosses that barrier, the wheel locks up and it prevents the cart from going any further. That system alone to install was over $18,000. And then that's not including the maintenance and the continued service on those carts. But people will find a way to remove those carts from the lot as best as we try. We do have courtesy clerks who collect the carts, but most of our courtesy clerks are Laurel High School kids and students, and it's just not a safe idea for them to stop customers who with the potential of stealing a cart and to have them roam about the city looking for carts that have been abandoned where they may or may not be. It's just not a safe idea. I'd like to propose a different alternative that would be mutually beneficial to both the city and Giant Food. What I'm looking for is a possible communication system where the problem is we just don't know where these carts are. Your servicemen find them and then they bring them back to us. What we're asking for is a telephone call. If you could call us and say, hey, your carts are at the intersection of X and Y. There's 3 carts there. Give me 48 hours to retrieve them. If I don't get them by that point, fine, go ahead and fine me. But the problem is we don't know where these carts are. This way, it saves you guys the wear and tear and your labor of bringing the carts back or moving them to a lot or whatever you propose, and we can get our stolen merchandise back. But simply finding us an additional amount for our own stolen property, it's almost like we're getting hit twice. And I would be happy to sit down and talk and maybe go over a process where it would be mutually beneficial for both of us. Okay? Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Donna, we have an agreement with you already set up, if I'm not mistaken. We got into, originally, we were bringing them back. Now I'm told that our code enforcement will advise you all where they're at and give you 24 hours notice.
That has not happened.
Okay.
I've never received a phone call. Now, I have received phone calls from apartment complexes. And when that happens, I send an adult with a couple of the kids out to that location and we retrieve them.
Okay.
We retrieve them within like 30, 45 minutes. We just don't know where the carts are.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. President.
Correct.
I have the business across the street from the giant plaza. If someone even drove within a block, they'd find at least 5 or 6 daily.
Yes, I understand that, but a lot of our kids don't drive. They walk, and I don't want to send them out into the city looking for carts that could be. I mean, all I'm asking for is a phone call.
Yeah. I understand that, but I'm saying these are the same kids that walk past them on the way to work.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you could even say, look around on your way to work, it might
I can
solve
do that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I have a question too.
Valerie?
Yes, you said that there's a system that sends the card or sends the wheel a message. Tronic,
Yes.
what did you call it?
It's called Cartronics.
And that locks the wheel?
Yes, so what happens is they route out the parking lot, they cut a hole in the parking lot to lay this wire down. It goes from the left side over by Heritage, the Harbor Freight. It goes around the medium and it goes down and crosses over where that middle island is as you leave the parking lot. And it sends a signal. So the carts, if you look at the carts, it's got one of the wheels has a cap on it.
Right.
So once it gets that signal that it's crossed, that cap comes around. So you're only rolling on 3 wheels. It locks it up. So you can't roll any further. And what we find has happened is people who are determined to get these carts off and take them to their homes or apartment complexes, they will literally lift the cart up high enough and get it over so they could take the carts.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Next person I have signed up to speak is Jamie Miller. State your name and address for the record, Mr. Miller.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Miller. I'm with Giant Food. My address is 8301 Professional Place, Landover, Maryland. Quite frankly, I'm not going to use my 2 minutes. I think Donna, our representative from the store, really kind of covered the key issues. You know, just to reiterate, you know, the Giant just really feels that finding a business whose property has been stolen by others who we really aren't able to control is concerning to us. And, you know, to Donna's point, we want to continue to work with the City of Laurel to, you know, find ways. She mentioned that it's $125 per cart, and that's, you know, as a business, while we're a large business, we operate on very slim profit margins. So we're always looking at the bottom line, and again, we really want to work with the city to resolve this issue. We know it's an issue for the communities around the store as well as to our business, and simply, you know, just finding us is not something that's going to resolve the issue. So we look forward to working with the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. John, you have some concerns that you want to address? Not tonight, but I'm just saying you'd like to take a look at this and address them. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to continue this until the next meeting, which is April 25th. So it'd be another hearing and possible action on April 25th. And who should make contact? Marty? Yeah, if you'd contact Mr. Fleming, city administrator, and you can meet with him, and I'm sure John will try and figure out what legal ramifications we have here or considerations, okay? Yeah, go ahead, Mayor.
Could you all address, I mean, you've got to be having this issue in other areas.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What is being done in other, you're gonna have to, somebody's gonna have to come to the mic.
Really, the main way we've been addressing, you are right, we have had this issue in other areas. I asked our operations folks today, kind of chain-wide, and it's about $500,000 in shopping carts that we lose. Donna mentioned Cartronics, the technology that we have. We have introduced that to other stores, and the level of success with that varies. I think even from the standpoint Donna mentioned earlier that around the holidays, the landlord had done some work and cut the line, and we did see kind of a rash of carts at that point leaving the premises. And once we got that back up online, it seemed to kind of alleviate the problem. But that's really it. It's really the store monitoring, having the parcel pickup kids go out on a regular basis to retrieve them from the parking lot, bring them into the store, and where there are high areas of the carts leaving the premises, installing technology like Cartronics. And Donna mentioned that's about $18,000 just to install at one store.
Let me ask you a question. Does your lease agreement with Federal Realty include them watching for people walking away with your carts? That's a shame.
That's not part of their.
Oh, I understand. I understand, but you would,
That's my whole point, is that these are, I have yet to see anyone fined or any tickets given to the people who take the cards. But, and I understand the need for them to use the cards, because there's no other way for them to get their groceries home. I get that.
let me just say this. Mr. Fleming can vouch for this. I've called carts in. When I'm leaving for work in the morning, if I see one, he gets a phone call from me. Excuse me, he doesn't get the phone call, he gets a message from me, okay? And then they'll send somebody from, I guess, code enforcement or code and public works. We're tying up our people too.
Right, and I'd like, that's what I was saying, it could be,
Yeah.
all it would be is a phone call to us.
Yeah,
And we could get them, and all we need is a phone call.
okay. I think there's, as John, I'm looking at John, I'm sure there's some things that can be considered here. People are essentially stealing the carts from you. Again, I mean, that's tough to prove, but if they're walking down the street with your cart and it's been removed from the property, it's like anything else gets removed from the property. But again, hopefully we can resolve the issue. Okay, thank you. So I'll close the, is there anybody else wishing to speak on this agenda item?
Make a comment while I have their attention, Mike.
Mayor, go ahead.
While have your attention, where I would like you all to address is where carts all gang up on that corner side right there at the crosswalk, right where it stops around the corner. Know what I'm talking about?
Where the pizza place is?
Doesn't even go down that far. It stops right there at the corner.
Okay.
Right, when you go into the side. Yeah, where you're going down towards Montrose, coming from your store, you come out and you'll swing a left. They gang up there quite a bit. There is accessibility issues at times and things like that. I think we've asked you to take a look at that before. I just noticed the other day that it looked like some were ganging up. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no one else wishing to speak on this agenda item, I'll close the public hearing at 7:45, and this will be on the April 25th agenda for a third reading and possible action. Move to agenda item number 14, introduction to first public hearing on ordinance number 1868, text amendment number 241, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Laurel, Maryland, to repeal chapter 20, land development and subdivision, article 4, floodplain management in its entirety, and reenacting floodplain management regulations into chapter 20 of the code and providing an effective date. Read the title into the record of the first reading. I'll open the public hearing at 7:46.
Mr. President, what is before you is a text amendment 241 that amends the City Code Chapter 20 Land Development and Subdivision to implement floodplain management regulations and the National Flood Insurance Program within the city, and to implement the flood insurance rate maps that will become finalized September 16th, 2016. This will be heard by the Planning Commission tomorrow evening with a recommendation back to City Council for the next public hearing.
Thank you, Jack. Read the title into this record for the first reading. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this agenda item, as I have no one sign up to speak? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 7:47. Second public hearing with possible action at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, April 25th, 2016 at 7 p.m. Is there anything else to come before the council? Seeing none, the meeting's adjourned.